Okay, so now you see we've got the two flared ends here, and the olive is going to end up right between those two flared ends. And when I sit that there, you can see how the sealing works. And then these guys are just going to come up from both directions and hold it all together. And it's really amazing, but no Teflon tape, no glue or anything like that required. That'll just hold together and give a beautiful seal that'll hold for decades. Hammer drill to drill a couple of holes in the brick here. If you go into brick, you're going to get a much stronger hold than if you go into the mortar. And I've used some green plugs. That's these guys here. They just tap into place. Into the serious end of the job now. I've pushed the pipe up by pushing the whole assembly tap and everything up. But if you see the marks on the pipe here, I'm going to cut it here and here because I'm going to be tapping that T-piece in with the nuts. So I'm going to have to cut this and then flare this and flare this. And then this one will then drag back to position. It's got to be cut there. They're all marked up. And then flare that. And then all those will join together. And that's how the water is going to get to our tap. It'll still get through to the hot water service, but it'll also be able to get through to our tap. Now, that can be all very awkward with a hacksaw, getting in there, cutting all of these and cutting this. So little tight spaces like this, I'm going to revert to my angle grinder with a cut-off blade in it. It's got a very fine cut-off blade, and so I'm going to use that, which means getting on some proper gloves and some safety glasses, and we'll chop through that nice and quick. Okay, so we've got this one clamped up. I'm just going to move it enough out of the way. Well, I can't actually swing there. I'm going to hold that up like that. Here we go. Got my fingers wrapped around the back here to hold that. There we go, done. That's one more done. Okay, so I couldn't get into it where I needed to around here, so I just got my shifter, my adjustable wrench in American, and loosened off that nut, so now I can spin it around. Now we can hold it and do the next one. Go time. Time for this little fella to go in. So I'm actually going to start him off on this one. All of the threads are going to go clockwise. There's one, that's a start. Slide that around. You can be pretty tough with this stuff and push it to where you want it to be. That's two. And, oh, look at that, it's even going to work. That is number three. It's exactly what you want there, is the flared bit to sit up on the nose there, and then the lock nut to come and tighten up on it. Oh, that one's a bit cross-threaded. If you get the camera right up and down, you'll see how it's not quite straight. It's sitting a bit cross-threaded, so we need to pull that one off and just go again to get the thread to go on straight. Okay, that's it. Okay. I didn't have that spring bending tool, so I've got myself a little bit of a kink there, but it's open enough and it's still working, so I'm sure there'll still be great pressure come out of that. That would be resolved by having that kinking tool, and I've managed to kink it actually when I've been hammering this in and flaring the inside of it. So now we just do all these up, and once you've made sure everything's tight, you get to turn the water back on and see if you've got any leaks. And if you do have any leaks, it's not a panic, it's not a big problem. Wherever it's leaking from, you just undo it and just check the flare, make sure there's not a little bit of copper or anything in the wrong place, reseat it, try it again. If it's not, you can increase the flare. So put this tool back inside and open up the flare a bit more, and then reseat it back down. But you just need to fiddle with it, and you'll get it to where you want it to be. But once you've worked with copper, it's a bit scary first time around, but once you've worked with it, it's really reliable for getting a seal, so it's good value. So just to end off, you can see we've now got our three-way valve in there, so where the water comes in from the houses is the cold, it heads off to the hot water service that way, but before it gets to the hot water service while it's still cold, we're taking an additional piece, running it along there, up the wall, to the tap. Now it's just time to screw the screws in, straight into those plugs that were mounted earlier. And you do want to make pretty good quality screws and pretty decent length, because the tap gets reefed around all over the place. That is wonderful. And then once it's tight, you can then get your shifter on and do this one up as well.
A moment of truth. It may spurt air and carry on a bit. But here we go. Ta-da! Beautiful.
Nice and hard. Beautiful.
Gorgeous.
That's mounted. It's really, really tight. There's no leaks. And down here at the base, I've attached it into the bricks again so it holds tight. And then I've just got stones along here, so it's just a matter of knocking the stones back, and that pipe all the way along will totally disappear. And as you can see, I've bent it into the right shape along there and along the slab. So that, all of it, very, very simply disappear like that. And we'll just have the bit of copper pipe popping up there. So there we go, job done. If you're brave enough to have a go, good on you. And I wish you every success.